All right, let's make some dim styles now. Dimensions are drawn differently depending on what industry you're in. They all have kind of the same parts, but they're all just a little different in various ways. So we're going to make three of them. We're going to do mech XXX, which means that it displays the dimension to 3 decimal places in a mechanical format. Mech fractional, which displays a fraction in the dimension. And then architectural, which does feet and inches. And so there's a few things we have to do to go through those. So let's start with the most simple one, mech XXX. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to this little annotation part of the ribbon. That's where all the dimensioning and lettering happens. We can also do this in the big annotate ribbon, but it's here, right here for us. And so if I click the tiny little arrow next to annotation, there's text, dim style, multi-leader, tables, and then I can pin that open. So we want to go to the dim style one and click the tiny little arrow and manage some styles. So there's a standard one that's just 4 decimal places. It just puts them in there with arrows and things like that. And so we're going to make a new one. It's going to be based on that one, but I have to give it the name mechanical XXX 3 decimal places. Annotative is left blank, and we're going to use it for all dimensions. So let's continue. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's all these little ribbons that come up. But under lines, this is a standard mechanical way of arranging the lines. And so we're just going to leave those alone. Okay. Everything looks fine. Symbols and arrows also look fine. Closed filled, that means these little tiny little arrows, they're filled in arrows, but the arrow size is going to be 0.12. Okay, and it asks for center marks. Yes, we usually put this little center mark in there. Sometimes it gets big, but we're going to leave it as the small one for right now. And under text, again, a standard text size printed on the piece of paper is 0.12, 1/8 of an inch. And we're just going to use the standard text style. And all the rest of it stays the same. Centered, we left to right, horizontal, all that fit, that all stays the same. There's nothing we need to change here. And then finally, primary units, it's decimal, but our precision is going to change from 4 decimal places to 3. There we go. That makes, and we don't need to worry about alternate unit or tolerances. That's more advanced than what we need to do in this class. So there's an OK. Now I want to do the same thing, but I want it to be fractional. So if I modify my mechanical XXX, I know that the only thing I need to do is change my primary units from decimal to fractional. And we'll leave the precision at the nearest 1/8 of an inch. That will be fine for us. And everything else stays the same again. Voila, I have did I not do that one? Let's do that again. Modify. Oh, I don't want to modify it. Darn it. Okay, I did that all wrong. Sorry. I'm going to leave that in decimal. I don't want to modify mech XXX. I want to make a new one. Let's get that right. New. Mech fractional. And here's where I'm going to make it fractional to the nearest eighth. So that quickly I've got a new one. Now I'm going to go back to the standard and make a new one, my last one, which is architectural, from that. But I have to do something first. Okay, if I'm going to be an architect, I want you to know that you would have to, for this to really work, you need to say that you want to be an architect under units. Now when I go into here and I make a new one from my standard, I don't have to leave it there. I don't actually have to do that. I just get in the habit of doing it. So this is going to be architectural. So let's look at the lines. The lines are all okay. There's nothing wrong with the lines, but our symbols and arrows, instead of arrowheads, we use a tick. And I can use architectural tick right there, or I can use oblique. I'll use the architectural tick. Leaders are still closed filled. Center marks, that's all still good. Text. So 3/16 is a little bit large. We're going to go with 1/8 of an inch again. And I'm going to use, there we go. And my vertical is going to be above the line. And my horizontal is going to be, I'll leave that one. That one's fine, centered. Vertical, horizontal, over. No, that's not right. That's where we want it to be. Text placement. And we want it aligned with the dimension line. Okay, so we're going to put vertical will be above, and our text alignment aligns with the center line. Okay, my fit, that's all good again. Did I make it? Yeah, I made it 1/8 fit. Primary units now are going to be architectural. So it's going to take my units and it's going to divide it into feet and inches. Okay, so there we go. Now I've got architectural, mechanical fractional, and mechanical XXX in my library resource file. If I were to type DC for Design Center and look at my Dimstyles, they're all there. And if I start a new drawing and need one of those, I'll just hold my mouse down and pull it into the drawing. And instead of doing all that setup work, again, I'll have just copied in what I just did. Okay, so there you go. That is your Create New Dimstyles demo.